It's Friday, June 5th. In the headlines, Jamaica and Ghana reignite ties with new cooperation agreements. In business news, Stock Exchange suspends Derrimon trading. Regionally, the Caribbean Development Bank leaders discuss navigating global uncertainty. And in sports, Cricket West Indies offers free admission for women at Sabina Park for the ODI on June 6. This is the Weekend News on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica and Ghana are moving to strengthen ties after the successful staging of the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation in Accra. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the meeting, the first in 21 years, resulted in new agreements spanning several sectors, while opening fresh opportunities for business and investment between the two countries. More in this report from Denida Rodney.
While giving an update at the most recent post-cabinet press briefing, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the engagement has re-energized relations and laid the groundwork for expanded collaboration across several sectors.
The visit provided an excellent opportunity to advance and re-energize our cooperation in the areas of health, in the areas of defense, trade, air services, culture, sports, and education.
Other key outcomes from the talks include agreements to recruit Ghanaian healthcare workers and expand health cooperation, while a new defense pact will strengthen maritime security, cyber defense, and disaster response efforts.
The agreement provides for a framework for joint training for maritime security, cyber defense, and cooperation against transnational threats. Of note is also the agreement's focus on humanitarian and disaster response, which builds on Ghana's solidarity mission here in Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa.
Minister Johnson-Smith says Jamaica and Ghana have also agreed to strengthen trade and investment ties while exploring opportunities to improve air connectivity between the Caribbean and Africa.
So just to add to that, we also agreed in our commission meetings that both of our countries will advance the operationalization of the bilateral air services agreement, which we signed in 2018. Ghana on their side is working on their airlift, and there will be more to say about that in due course. And we are ultimately examining the opportunity for establishing direct air links and by extension increased people-to-people ties between Kingston and Accra, both gateways to our respective regions.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says another 300 container housing units are expected to arrive in Jamaica as the government continues efforts to assist families displaced by Hurricane Melissa. Speaking during the handover of 27 service lots by the National Housing Trust in Malvern on Thursday, Dr. Holness said 1,200 housing units are already in the island, with the remaining 1,000 expected by July.
Another contribution of the NHD to the recovery is that the NHD has spent over $29 million to purchase 2,500 semi-permanent modular housing solutions. Yes? 1,200 of these housing solutions are already on the island. 300 will be here by Friday, and the remaining 1,000 we expect to be here by July.
The Prime Minister said the modular housing solutions will support persons whose homes were destroyed or who must be relocated from heavily damaged areas, including residents of Parity. Dr. Holness noted that the relocation process would involve consultations with residents and would aim to preserve livelihoods, property value, and dignity.
we have already indicated to the people of Parity that that area has to be relocated. And we will do it in such a way that their livelihood will be preserved, the value of their asset will be preserved, but most importantly, their dignity will be preserved. So it's not going to be an overnight process. It will be a process that involves them at every step. They can be assured of what we are doing.
He added that the NHT, the Urban Development Corporation, the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation, and the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority will work together to coordinate the relocation initiative. Opposition spokesperson on Justice Zuleika Jess is raising concerns about what she describes as a crisis within the court system in Western Jamaica following the impact of Hurricane Melissa. Making her contribution to the sectoral debate this week, Jess accused Justice Minister Delroy Chuck of failing to adequately address conditions affecting courts in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland.
How can this administration boast of a modern justice system when our court workers cannot even wash their hands? Under this government, Madam Speaker, the wheels of justice aren't just turning slowly. They are grinding to a dirty halt.
She also raised concerns about court security.
The security infrastructure under this administration has completely collapsed. Just months ago in Santa Cruz, it was reported in the news that a member of the public barged straight into the court office and grabbed a box of legal files. It took the court staff themselves, who are ordinary workers, not trained security personnel, to physically fight off the intruder and knock the files from his hands.
The opposition MP further argued that the closure of the Westmoreland Parish Court has forced residents to travel to Lucy to access circuit court services, creating added financial hardships for jurors, litigants, and attorneys. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness had addressed the issue of access to public services like courthouses during his Labor Day speech at Lewistown Early Childhood Institution in Brompton, St. Elizabeth.
What is of great concern is I want to go and conduct my business, but the tax office is down, or some other public service that you would get, it's not available. Courts, for example, you have to travel distances now to address these matters. And so we're in that phase of the recovery to get these things done. And we are working on them.
Stress can be detrimental to your health. And as such, it is of importance that we find coping mechanisms. Chanel Matthews took to the streets to find out how people handle their stress.
How do you cope with stress?
I cope with stress by being with nature. I like to read, talking to my friends, listening to music. For nature, immediately I come to Hope Gardens, surrounded by the beautiful trees, the birds making noise, and just walking around, relieving that type of stress, taking deep breaths, exhaling and stuff like that. I like to read self-awareness books that teaches me where I can learn something from to grow myself and my mind and how I deal with people, because my job is stressful, so I need that to alleviate that type of stress when dealing with people.
I'm a gamer, so I tend to game a lot, playing FIFA, Call of Duty sometimes, sometimes on my phone. Sometimes I watch some reels, IG, YouTube. It's good to have some comedic relief in your life, so laugh a little. Yeah, that's pretty much how I handle my stress.
To be honest, I listen to music, play video game, sometimes I drink. But drinking is not the right way, I learned that since lately, so the stress will still be there. So sometimes you have to just speak to a good friend who you can trust, talk about it, relax, pray. Yeah, and listen to music. Music is life,
Stress can drive you insane. Once it gets to you mentally, it will take advantage of you. So I try to put everything in God's hand and handle it the best way I can, step by step, slowly but surely. I try to focus on what's most important and avoid letting it get the best of me.
With me now, I always listen to music. If it is not country music, reggae music, pop, soul, anything that, I am a music girl, so I always listen to music and those stuff. So that is how I cope with stress.
In the business report, trading in the shares of a junior market company, Derimon Trading Limited, has been suspended by the Jamaica Stock Exchange after the company failed to submit its 2025 audited financial statements on time. The JSE says the suspension follows junior market rules as the financial statements became 92 days overdue on June 2. Derimon says issues identified during the audit require further review and validation before the financial statements can be finalized. The company's board says it is committed to ensuring shareholders receive complete, reliable, and properly assessed financial information before the audited results are released. Fosrich founder and CEO Cecil Foster has outlined a 5-point turnaround strategy after the company reported a first quarter net loss of $178.8 million for the period ended March 31, 2026, up 170% from $68.6 million a year earlier. Loss per share widened to 4 cents from 1 cent. The recovery plan includes sale and lease back of real estate assets to repay loans and boost cash flow for inventory purchases. Opening of the Malines Superstore by the end of the third quarter to drive revenue and cash generation. Inventory rationalization to reduce stock levels, cut costs and focus on high-performing products. Tighter control of administrative expenses through continued scrutiny of spending. Vertical integration partnerships with property developers to increase demand for Fosrich products and services and drive sales growth. Denise Williams brings us the market updates and more.
For the trading period of June 4, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Kentire Holdings Jamaica Limited with 22,064,566 units, representing 53.13% of market sales activities. Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 5,810,982 units, representing 13.99% of market sales activities. Wigton Energy Limited with 2,333,339 units, representing 5.62% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, distribution, and solar energy plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for June 4, 2026. Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $156.97 and buying at $158.38. Moderate gains supported the Canadian dollar, which had $6.73 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $116.77 and was bought for $110.04. The British pound had continued volatility, which offered short-term trading opportunities of 65 cents in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $212.30 and was bought for $211.65. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, we recommend that over the next 90 days, every small business owner should embark on a deliberate credit roadshow, a structured effort to build a personal financial ecosystem that can support growth, expansion, innovation, and resilience. So what is a financial ecosystem? Well, it is a network of funding relationships that provides access to different forms of capital throughout the life of a business. Rather than relying on a single bank, entrepreneurs should build connections with commercial banks, credit unions, microfinance institutions, development finance agency, government funding program, angel investors, venture capital firms, private investors, equipment financing companies, trade and supplier credit providers. Each serves a different purpose, and together they create a strong foundation for financial growth. The objective is not to secure a loan tomorrow. The objective is to become known, credible, and finance ready. In our funded and focused feature, business owners know that growth requires capital. The most successful entrepreneurs understand that funding is not a one-time transaction. It is the result of a carefully constructed ecosystem of relationships, credibility, assets, and opportunity that continuously attract capital. Instead of asking, where can I find funding, entrepreneurs should be asking, how can I build a business that funding is naturally attracted to? So we want you to build your system before you need it. Too many owners begin searching for financing when they have already reached crisis point. But by then, lenders are concerned, investors are cautious, and opportunities may have already been lost. So the smartest entrepreneurs build funding relationships long before they need money. They establish banking relationships, they go to investor forums, and they engage with business development organizations to position themselves as credible. Capital tends to flow toward businesses that demonstrate preparation rather than desperation. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, as global uncertainty continues to impact economies across the region, leaders of major multilateral development banks gathered in the Bahamas for a timely discussion on how to navigate the challenges ahead. During the Caribbean Development Bank's 56th Annual Board of Governors meeting, the President's chat panel examined strategies for supporting countries through economic shocks, climate threats, and development delays. Our news' Megan Shepherd reports.
The Caribbean continues to face a complex mix of economic, climate, and social challenges, making flexibility and partnerships more important than ever. That was the message from regional development leaders during the President's Chat panel held as part of the Caribbean Development Bank's 56th Annual Board of Governors meeting in Nassau. Gisela Sanchez, Executive President of the Central American Bank for Economic Integration, says development institutions must be prepared to adapt to rapidly changing conditions.
I will say the first word that comes to mind is adaptability, making scenarios, because we are facing so many challenges at the same time that we cannot use a single model. And the second one is use our core competencies and create partnerships to face these challenges in the best way possible.
Caribbean Development Bank President Daniel Best said multilateral development banks play a critical role during times of crisis, particularly when member countries are at their most vulnerable.
Multilateral development banks such as the three of ours have a counter-cyclical mandate. It is when our countries experience severe economic shocks that they need us the most. And it is in that time that we are almost cautioned against trying to step forward and support. It isn't intuitive. And supporting our countries at their most vulnerable points isn't taking risks. It is what we are set up to do.
Best also addressed one of the biggest challenges to development project delays. He said the bank is working to strengthen implementation capacity to ensure communities benefit from critical investments sooner.
Should take seconds, sometimes takes months to get an evaluation back. And every dollar of development delayed is an actual life that is not benefiting from that school, from that road, from that reliable water. So these are the conversations we have. What we're doing right now, of course, with every project that we do, we assess the implementation capacity of the entity. And whether it is we put some TA in place to help boost it, or we try to increase the supervision missions, or we even assist with providing a procurement consultant.
The discussion highlighted the growing need for development institutions to be more collaborative and responsive as the region navigates for increasingly uncertain global landscape. Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepherd.
The Turks and Caicos Islands has become the first territory in the Americas to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of hepatitis B and has also been certified for eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV. The achievement was recognized by the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization, which praised the territory's strong healthcare system and commitment to maternal and child health.
On behalf of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, I extend congratulations to the Turks and Caicos Islands on the historic certification of the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV and hepatitis B. This is a major public health achievement and a testament to what can be accomplished through focused leadership, science-driven policy, and strong community solidarity. Today, we celebrate not only the elimination of HIV infections in infants, but also an extraordinary milestone. Turks and Caicos Islands is the first country in the Americas to receive official certification from the World Health Organization, WHO, for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of hepatitis B. This achievement marks a defining moment for the region and reflects what investment, commitment, and strong partnerships can achieve. It also sets a powerful example for continued progress toward triple elimination, including congenital syphilis, a very important public health challenge nowadays. To the healthcare professionals, including doctors, nurses, midwives, laboratory staff, vaccination teams, community health workers, program managers, and support staff, as well as outreach workers, civil society, organizations, and national partners. Your dedication, skill, and compassion made this achievement possible. You ensured mothers received testing, counseling, and treatment, and infants received timely vaccination and follow-up care, delivered with quality, respect, and equity. Through your collective efforts, you strengthened health services, protected families, and helped turn policy into action. This achievement reflects strategic leadership by the Ministry of Health and Human Services, supported by a strong public-private partnership across the health sector and civil society. As we look ahead, this milestone should inspire continued investment in maternal, newborn, and child health, stronger health systems, and progress toward eliminating other communicable and neglected diseases. Once again, congratulations on this outstanding accomplishment, and particularly for the leadership of the Ministry of Health. PAHO reaffirms our commitment to continue working alongside with the government and people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, supporting efforts to sustain these gains and advance toward the elimination of additional public health threats. Thank you.
Health officials say more than 95% of pregnant women receive antenatal care and infection screening, while over 90% of newborns receive timely hepatitis B vaccinations. The milestone follows years of investment in accessible healthcare, strong surveillance systems, and targeted outreach programs, including services for migrant communities. Officials say efforts will now focus on maintaining achievement through continued monitoring and equitable access to care. The Turks and Caicos Islands join a growing number of countries and territories in the Americas that have achieved this important public health milestone, contributing to the regional goal of ending mother-to-child transmission of HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis B. Barbados and Canada are looking to deepen economic and diplomatic ties following a series of high-level meetings in Toronto led by Prime Minister Mia Mottley. The visit included discussions with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, private sector leaders, and academic institutions, focusing on new opportunities in logistics, quantum computing, maritime research, insurance, and energy security. Prime Minister Carney welcomed Prime Minister Mottley to Canada and spoke warmly of her leadership and the depth of the relationship between the two countries.
We have a deep relationship between our two countries, but I want to say above and beyond that Prime Minister Mottley is an absolute leader globally, a leader in this hemisphere, a leader globally, and not just a leader for today, but a leader for tomorrow. And you think about the areas where we're cooperating, and part of today will be about how we further that cooperation. Of course, on all aspects related to climate change, adaptability, resilience, both in terms of physical building, but the financing mechanisms for that, a number of things we're moving forward, but also in mitigation. And I salute again your commitment to 100% clean energy, and of course anything we can do, getting methane down, all these aspects.
Prime Minister Mottley emphasized the importance of maintaining strong relationships with Canadian businesses domiciled in Barbados and identifying areas where the partnership is working well and where it can be strengthened.
Barbados and Canada have had a long relationship, long before we were even thought of. But we've learned that where we have leaders who have a strong relationship, much happens. At the time of our independence, our then Prime Minister Alvaro was very close to your Prime Minister, Pierre Trudeau, and a lot has happened in the bilateral relationship, not only multilaterally. So today is about refocusing where we are with our bilateral relationship, how we can make it easier and better for Barbadians and Canadians to continue to work together. A lot of our business in Barbados is dependent on Canadians. A lot of our tourists in Barbados come from Canada. A lot of Barbadians have family and relationships in Canada and have added value. The chairman and CEO of the Toronto International Film Festival is of Barbadian roots.
In sports, we're at the creases with cricket. Cricket West Indies is rolling out the red carpet for women across Jamaica with the Ladies' Night at Sabina Park on Saturday, June 6, offering free admission to the second one-day international between the West Indies and Sri Lanka. The special promotion forms part of CWI's We Outside International Home Series campaign, which is focused on bringing fans back to the game. Women can collect complimentary tickets for admission to the general stands from the Sabina Park box office ahead of the match. With the first ball scheduled for 2:30 p.m., patrons are encouraged to arrive early and enjoy a full day of action before the atmosphere shifts into party mode with DJ entertainment, special drinks, and opportunities to win tickets to the upcoming T20 International Series. CWI's Chief Executive Officer, Chris Dering, says the initiative reflects the organization's commitment to making cricket more accessible while creating a dynamic entertainment experience for fans. And that's it for the weekend news. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.